Hey, everybody. Welcome to Perpetual Motion, a podcast for lifelong learners interested in improving their communication skills, relationships, finances, and wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Mo Anderson, and my guest this week is Inesa Pomomariovaite. Correct me. She'll correct me later, but it's a beautiful name. You have to see it to really appreciate it. She is the visionary founder and CEO of Nesa's Hemp, the world's first ever full spectrum CBDa oil. As a renowned expert in the field of hemp and CBD, as well as a caring holistic healer who is actively changing lives, her mission is to revolutionize and empower people by transforming their concepts of health and the healing power of pure hemp and CBDa. If you've been wondering how or if CBD and hemp products can truly help people with certain health issues, or if you're curious about the difference between CBD, THC, and hemp, stay tuned and let's all learn more about this rapidly growing industry. Now you've learned a bit about my amazing guest, Inesa P., founder of Nesa's Hemp, founder and CEO. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of this amazing interview where we talk about women in the CBD industry, THC versus hemp versus CBDa. And when we ended part 1, we were talking about Nesa's hard-fought journey to find a farmer to work with her as she developed her own soil so that she could grow the finest full spectrum CBDa ever. I was just asking her about finding a farmer willing to do this for free. Stay tuned. And if you haven't listened to part 1, they stand alone, but I'd highly encourage you to go back and listen to part 1 and then part 2.
So yeah, I think it took me 12, 13, 14 farmers to go through. And then I met the crazy farmer, the good one.
I was going to say, that's not much of a pitch. I like the outcome, but you're not going to get paid, especially for farmers, with all the work that they do. So it would take someone with who met your passion for this project to do it. But you found someone. In what country was he in?
He is actually in Oregon.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. He is in Oregon. He agreed to do, and he said anything, what it takes for humanity. Money is not everything. And you're right. I know all the dirty secrets about this industry, makes me cry. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just want to kiss you, hug you, squeeze you, do whatever. Let's start. So, right. And that's exactly what we did. We really helped each other to comment, make, to discussions and open each other's eyes. And as I said, like I participated in the harvest processes and things like that. Yeah, we created biological soil. So where 1 teaspoon of in the soil, it contains more microbes than the entire world of people. And it's super living, beautiful. We deactivated the chemtrails and we got the cows from Japan, 19 generations, no vaccination. So we can have a healthy microbiome to feed the soil with the waste. So with that being said, it took me 2 years, but yes, I was able to develop that beautiful, healthy soil to grow beautiful girls and then a beautiful extraction process that doesn't contain any possible chemicals and the solvents, and we're able to actually make first miracle happen, which is we're able to put all hemp compounds as they are living in the soil. Do you know they have certain frequency?
Right.
We're able to put all of them to the finished bottle. So we literally have a heartbeat of CBDA, CBGA, and another millions of compounds that are never been even discovered. Wow. So it's the whole structure of the hemp in the finished bottle. And the saddest thing for me was in the industry to see how companies taking an advantage of people not knowing.
Let's talk about that a little bit. You've mentioned their dirty little secrets a couple of times, and I know that that's a topic you discuss. So to distinguish your product even more, and what you just described with soil, I'm a biology major, and I know what we've done to the soil over all these years, leading to the toxins that are present there. But to hear that you were able to extract them and have biological soil, that's just so fascinating to me. But what are some of the dirty secrets of the industry? Because you've mentioned that a couple of times. we know it's all about money. It's a $1 billion industry. And along with that, I want to know what Delta 8 is, because that's all over Texas. And I've read some horrible things about that, but I'll stop talking because you've got some great expertise here. But those are my questions.
Yeah, it's even someone who's using cannabis or CBD. I really want these people to sit down, and I'm just here to educate you. So don't pass out because I'm talking right now, because this is really dirty. And I was trying to be nice when I said little dirty secrets. Well, first of all, we have zero regulations to keep any possible cannabis, hemp, CBD, whatever the company, accountable for anything. Okay. That means you can do whatever you want to do and nobody's going to keep you accountable for. So it gets to the point that first, keep in mind, we have that essential human endocannabinoid system. If we empower the endocannabinoid system of all Americans today, half of the country would be off the pills in the next 90 days, just by empowering human endocannabinoid system. That topic itself today is federally still illegal to educate or talk or promote. So that means it's not legal for you to really know about your own most essential organ in your body. So now what I have to say is, now we have this CBD where the whole industry is pushing, and that's exactly what I'm not going to say which one, but one of the doctors had a concern that they're going to allow these business owners promote the CBD compound, the molecule, that belongs and is a property of pharmaceuticals as of today. And they're going to pull it back when they're going to have enough of market share. And that's exactly what they start to do this year. So, first of all, if you take CBD, you're not taking natural compound, you're taking CBD drug. That's number one. In order to get CBD drug, you have to extract CBDa through solvents, gases, and high temperatures that are not healthy for the plant and you and your organs to turn into CBD. So if you do this process, that itself is already unhealthy. And as you know, the whole country sells CBD. So now we're getting into the weeds. And this is where it gets really scary. These products on the market today don't contain barely any batch number that actually is linked with lab results. Okay? So that means these products are sold with heavy metals. I never found a product as of today on the market that doesn't contain mold and heavy metals. Not single one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when I went in Colorado and I did my investigation on the largest, not going to say the name, largest hemp producers and also USDA certified for the whole foods produce producers, I said, dear brother, do you know that your hemp contains a load of actually metals? He said, we are negative in parts per million. And if you stupid testing in parts per billion, too bad for you, because organic certifies everything in parts per million. I'm like, but human body functions parts per trillion. So we need to have so people think if you're gonna just contain this and please the USDA organic logo, that means you don't have to go extra step to keep these products healthy and clean. So they have an excuse that organic doesn't require them to test additional things. So they're just gonna stay on the bare minimum level to show you that they have nothing in it while they're loaded. So
well, that's always the excuse. We didn't break the law. We met the regulations and the rules. That's the excuse for everything. Exactly. It's appalling. It's appalling.
And then it gets extra scary. The extra scary when you know you're taking a drug that's loaded with mold, metals, and all kinds of other mycotoxins. That's what really gets scary when you call the laboratory and you say, I want to test my product. And first thing they ask you, how you want your lab results to look like.
What? Isn't that standardized? You get to customize your lab results?
I personally did, only because I created completely new standard in the country that no one can reach until today. It's been 5 years. I'm challenging every company in the world. I said, don't talk, just do what I do and show me your lab results.
Show me the receipts. That's
Exactly.
what Gen Z says. Yeah.
So, but no, what I was trying to say here, and I'm so sorry if I'm confusing, but because I know you probably don't expect this right now.
No, you're not confusing. I'm loving this. I'm just making sure I'm just jumping in for clarification periodically, but no, you're explaining it very well.
The status is that laboratories in America today, they would take your product, they would ask you extra couple $100 to make the lab reports to look the way you wish. The only one laboratory in this country that failed my test, because I was calling all of them and saying, can you do some adjustments if I have mold? Can you do this if I have metals? And it's like, yeah, we'll need to discuss the price and everything is possible. The only one laboratory in this country said, we're not going to settle our integrity and we're going to report the laboratory results as it is in your bottle, in your product to the public. It's called ACS Laboratory in Florida, only one in the country.
Good for them.
Calling hundreds of laboratories.
Good for them.
They're losing a lot of business. They are losing so much business. Do you know why? Because the CBD companies come, they're positive for all kinds of different, very dangerous substances in there. And the laboratory says, we're not going to change your lab results. We're going to report as it is, and we're going to print you the copy. And they said, I don't need that. You better change it. I'll pay you money or I'm going somewhere else. And that's how they lose business, because these companies, CBD companies, going somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Who's going to change their lab results? So now as a consumer, say, I met this Inesa from Nesa's Hemp. She educated me that I should be taking only full spectrum, biological, healthy, beyond organic CBD hemp extract because it's so healthy for me to empower my own endocannabinoid system. You go to the shop, any kind of type of shop, cannabis anywhere right now that where it's regulated and is allowed to sell, and you say, please show me laboratory results. If some companies bother, they will show you something. But first of all,
they have them online. I mean, they boast about it. But now that I hear what you're saying, I'm just bewildered. Like, it doesn't mean anything then from what you're saying. Wow.
It doesn't mean anything. And that's the saddest part. So when people ask me about regulations, the first thing I want to do, regulate the laboratories, because if they give you false information, they should be counted, because we count on them to give a real data. And if they're lying because they would take extra couple $100 and you sell this dangerous substance to public, I mean, we have major problem from the soil to the drug. Nobody wants you to know about the CBDa because it can be patented, it can be owned by anybody. It should be in the grocery stores in the produce section. That means everybody should have hands-on in the backyard and everywhere else to stay healthy. And no, but none of that stuff is happening. In fact, genetics changed so far and so far away, we're good luck to really figure out where is original genetics.
Wow.
And the plant is essential.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and I said, and the plant is essential to us today to survive and be healthy and to thrive in our life is essential, just like air, water, and food.
Yes, those are very essential. And the other part of that question was the Delta 8. And I asked because here in Texas, which, we've got a massive population and I think it's synthetic, but I'm not. Are you familiar with the product?
100%. It's all of them. There is no Delta 8 in the plant. They reconvert the THC, recreate all these THCs in multiple scenarios. And come up Delta 9, Delta 8, Delta everything. And everybody's new hype this year, Delta 9, Delta 8. We're creating psychosis in this country because of this cannabis industry. And they say, you guys wanted this herbal plant for you to be healthy, for all healthy eaters. No, dear government, we don't want your version of the plant. We want God's version of the plant that you don't want and you don't even dare to tell us about that version. In fact, you're criminalizing even the subject on that version.
Wow. So we've heard what you're doing, the extremes you've gone to it, and bless you for your persistence, because I mean, that's been a mantra in my life as well. I just don't give up, especially when I feel like the information is going to help a lot of people, not just me. So I love that you've gone in so hard on this. But is your product Nesa's Hemp, the CBDA, can we get that anywhere, or can I get it in a state like Texas where I live, where certain things, a lot of things aren't legal, or is it only just in certain states where it's approved? How does that work?
We truly sell in every single state, and we ship from, people purchase online. Yes, we sell it in doctor offices, but it's not worth it for you to fly in Chicago, find the doctor offices.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of love Chicago, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
In the summers, we'll take you by the water and you have some good time, some healthy snacks and juices. But no, Chicago is a beautiful city. We just have a lot of sadness going on itself, but the city itself is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, we sell online. But what happens is, I'm talking about CBDA. I'm talking about THCA. That's what we have in our product. Those doesn't make you high. They don't even have a category. When we became famous for the first time ever, after I've been in this for over 5 years, pushing, drilling, dripping my blood and trying to educate everybody and see come back 10 years from now because nobody even understands what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So we became famous when Oregon University did the research for COVID. What can possibly prevent for people to get COVID? And they came up with one answer with proven science that actually blocks your receptors is CBDA plus CBGA. They had science to prove that your body cannot get infected by COVID if you take this. And that was right when they actually rolling the vaccines. Do you think they wanted the subject to be all over the place? Absolutely no, because nobody can own this except you, me, people, humanity, and nature. Mm-hmm. So what happened is every news channel called me out, and my PR team was so busy. Like my PR, thank God, one of them is worked in NBC half of her life, so she was able to handle the situation, right? Because I was literally asked by every channel, including I was interviewed on High Times with the same doctor from Israel, because everybody called him or me to get the answers. What is the CBDA thing going on? Where's this came from? Because we don't even know what CBDA is. Wow, I was already fully in the subject. So what happened? CBD topic became famous. But then all the science starts really looking towards that subject, and now they're trying to discover more and more. And they did discover that CBDA is 1,000 times stronger, more powerful, more effective for epilepsy, central nervous system. It's way more powerful than CBD. But the funny part is, when I did these interviews with top mainstream media, every 15 minutes, everyone else was scheduled. Some of them actually changed my interview from video to actually a text, and they cut off half of my information because I was sharing exactly what I'm sharing today. Mm-hmm. That CBD is not controlled substance, doesn't belong in any category. That's what I said. We can ship all over the country. We have no category for this. Mm-hmm. We have no regulations. It's superfood. So, and that's the moment where I realized this industry is going to be completely against me probably for the rest of my life. But the good news, we spread the word, people learned about it. And the funny part was some very famous doctors on TV that you see them Dr. Oz channels and things like that. Mm-hmm. They became a CBDA producers within the next 2 weeks after the news came out. And I'm thinking, how you guys created CBDA in 2 weeks? It took me 2 years just to make the soil. And I'm sitting and wondering what's happening here. Because there was another hype for them, COVID and CBDA, science showing you, proving you can actually prevent yourself from getting. You don't understand how big of the market it was. Mm-hmm. So, that's the moment where CBDA became be highlighted, And the sad part, again, the news never reported my full interviews. And I said, okay, maybe it's my accent. maybe it's my former accent. Maybe I didn't like my something. I don't know, something about me.
I'm gonna say it was a combination of the liability and who their advertisers are, and just it typically tends to be about the money. Well, we will be releasing this podcast in full, every single word of it. We might take a couple of my ahs and your no's out, but that'll just be to make me sound more professional. But it's it's interesting whether you're talking about genetically modified fruits and vegetables or the water in Michigan and Detroit. It is interesting what news outlets and other sources of information for people, even, when we hear stories about opioids, I'm real big on fighting the opioid crisis and what the Sacklers did, and that they had somebody in the FDA that they were able to get to approve language that distinguished their product from other products when it really wasn't that way. So we have to look at everything with a critical eye. I hate to say, but I am very open to hearing from different sources, because so often we find out that the things we've been told and that we believe, that we thought people just naturally would be looking out for our interests as a general public, and they're not. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, another source of information. You're passionate. I'm sure you've got the data to back all of this up. So I'm fine with it. I hate that happened to you, but here you are. And we know that Nesa's hemp is doing great. You can get it all over the United States. It's a superfood, as you said. Is it available globally as well?
We're working on a global, and the funny part also, politics in Europe, after 3 years working so hard to pass like a documentation and proving process, because our product is so clean, where FDA is purchasing my product in the beginning every month. Right now they stop buying every month, they're buying every other month, and they're sending to the FDA testing facilities, and they're trying to find something bad in me, but they can't, because there's nothing bad about us. So, and I'm very transparent, because I show pages of lab testing in parts per billion from every microtoxin, from everything. I told my laboratory, if you came up with parts per trillion, give it to me. Give it to me. I want parts per trillion. So what happened with Europe, and this is really sad. They say hemp is legal, but they forgot to tell us which part of the hemp. They actually allow only leaves to be legal, which is
and not the stem. Okay.
Not the buds, the ones that are the head. There was the whole medicinal power. I'm not saying leaves are bad for you. No, I'm sure they're great too. But where the terpenes, cannabinoids, and all the power of medicinal is in the head. And they don't allow that head to be actually legalized. But they also saying cannabis is legal, but they say it's just the leaves. The leaf part is legal. But again, if you in general public, if you listen in the news, cannabis is legal, hemp is legal. No. It's not the medicinal part of the hemp is legal. It's the things that really don't matter much to your body is legal.
Wow. My head is just popping. Wow. Thank you for sharing this.
Fighting this one right now. Another one.
Yeah, an aha moment indeed. Well, tell me, what can we expect from Nesa's hemp in the future? I do believe you're going to go global. You get past these regulations and restrictions, and it's going to be different in every country, as you know, from Asia to Africa to Canada. But companies have done it, and with your enthusiasm and the product, as you've described it, I'm sure you will too. But what are you working on for the future?
I'm working on beyond big things that I believe is going to be so big, where it's going to shake the world the way the 9/11 was shaking in the negative, but this is going to be in the positive. And it's so big where I just signed the NDA. Be literally signing the contract next week. Be putting 2 compounds together that we have. I can't even say the word cancer, because the C word is so dangerous in these days, but it's going to be so powerful and so big. And it's coming probably in the late fall, early December. And that's why I highly recommend everyone to register on our email list, because we're going to be announcing all over the place. And also we're going to be providing evidence that are being done and cured for 50, 60 years ago. These people are still talking, walking. And it's a book of people, the first and last names. And these people are going to be able to stand in front of the camera and say, this book is written was 30, 40 years ago. And this is me again, 30 years later. So it's coming and it's very big. I'm definitely working on a lot of things. I'm also working how to reduce the prices. It's very hard to do because of our very expensive farming processes, extraction processes. Our laboratory testings are tremendous expensive just to prove the quality of the product on each bottle that's been handed to every citizen in America. So very big news coming. I promise you, you're going to see this world shining when it comes to Nesa's hemp.
All right. I am excited to hear that. Congratulations on all that you've accomplished so far and the publicity, marketing that's gone along with all of your hard work. And I'm very, very pleased that we were able to have you, Inessa, on our program today. Tell the people how to find that website and get on your distribution list and find you on social media. Where do they go to find Nesa's hemp?
That's exactly where to find. It's Nesa's. It's Nesas. NesasHemp.com, or just Google Nesa's hemp and you're going to be able to find us less than in 2 seconds. There's so much about us right now at this point. We're also on the mission to make the world a better place because I've been targeted by human traffickers in the past. So a portion of our funds goes to Navy SEAL groups to save children from human trafficking and sex trafficking. So yes, we're definitely on the mission to make the world a better place. And there's a lot going on in my hobby world, which is, as I mentioned a couple seconds ago. Mm-hmm. So I'll be announcing something very big also soon. I'm building very amazing trusted platform to save children and women from human trafficking. So thanks to Nesa's hemp funding, because then it gives me freedom to help people. And also we're working to build a church in Pakistan. We have over 100 kids. I just installed the water systems for them. So they pray every Saturday. They don't speak in English, but I'm getting them full actual time English teacher for my kids in Pakistan. So I want them to learn English. So when I'll get there in a year and a half from now, I want them to speak with me. I want to empower them. I want to share a message with God. So I'm super excited. There's a lot of great things going on. That's why I can't sleep.
Indeed, there are. Indeed, there are. This has been a fantastic interview. I've learned a lot. I love your passion and enthusiasm about what you're doing. You're a great spokesperson for your company, in addition to being a scientist as well. Thank you for the education. And I know this is going to help a lot of people just to choose safe and effective products and think differently about what you're looking for when you make those purchases for things that are going into our very delicate, wonderful bodies. So once again, thank you for joining us today, Nesa of nesashemp.com. We'll drop all this information in the show notes, and we look forward to seeing what's coming next.
Thank you so much.
And wasn't that a great program? Oh, love that episode. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Learn more about me on my website, drmoanderson.com. That's MOE. You can read book excerpts, watch videos, learn about my services that I offer, and book me for a speaking engagement. I'd love to talk with your group, and I'd love to work with you. So until the next time, review, renew, and renew. Thank you.